Hello and welcome to another edition of Lab Rats. My name's Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
And this is the show where we demystify technology. You know, all those weird little acronyms and little bits and pieces, gadgets, that kind of thing. And today on the show, we are going to demystify this stuff.
Cotton.
Not cotton. What is this? This is Sean's prop. What is
This is my prop. This is the cloud.
Cloud, right. You may be hearing lately people talk, especially geeks in your midst, maybe saying, oh, I'm saving it to the cloud. Oh, I'm running it on the cloud. What exactly is the cloud? Because it's not this stuff.
Well, kind of is.
It's cloud computing.
Although if you tried computing with this, I think you'd be in trouble pretty quickly.
Absolutely. So today on Lab Rats, we're going to demystify cloud computing. What exactly is cloud computing? Why would you save anything to a big white fluffy thing?
Sounds dumb to me.
It does sound dumb, but it's actually not. It's actually a very exciting trend in computing. So let's take a break, and when we come back, cloud computing demystified today on
Lab Rats.
Welcome back to Lab Rats. Stop it.
That stuff is poisonous, you know?
I know it is. And let me do this little bit, and then we'll get into cloud computing.
All right.
Okay? Before we get into the meat of the show, I want to remind you about if you want a domain name, like ilovecloudcomputing.com, you can check it out at hover.com. And it's the easiest place to register all your domains and get all kinds of other services too. And we have a coupon for you expressly from Lab Rats right here on the screen to give you 10% off. Okay? Hover.com.
Is it the Dudabides?
The what?
The coupon code?
The Dudabides. Yeah, no, it's not. It's Lab Rats.
Sorry, man.
Okay. All right. Get into. Well, maybe we should create one for Dudabides.
Let's do it.
You happy? Okay, good. Can we get on with it now?
Yes.
Thank you. All right. So cloud computing. Let's talk about cloud computing. Do you have a definition of cloud computing that you can give me in 6 words?
Computing in the cloud. That was 4. I got 2 left over.
My goodness me.
6 words. No, I can give it to you in more than 6 words.
Okay.
All right. So computing in the cloud is basically trusting your data to the internet.
Right. Actually, it's a little bit more than that.
It's a little bit more than that.
It is. So, the cloud is the internet, right? It's that great unwashed masses of servers out there in the internet that can do stuff for you while you're connected to it. Mm-hmm. So the cloud, so ultimately cloud computing is sending your computer jobs, whether it's storing something out there on the internet, or sending a process. So for example, if you want to run a render of a piece of video, you can actually push it out to the cloud. And because the cloud has massive computing power, it can do things very quickly for you. And finally, of course, you can run software out there in the cloud and not actually physically have it on your desktop. So it's kind of using your computer not on your desktop, but out there on the internet to do stuff for you that you otherwise would do locally.
Right. The first,
How many words was that, by the way?
Oh, that was quite a few more than 6.
Okay, good.
So the first application I remember knowing about for the cloud, beyond some of the ones we're going to talk about today, that was sort of like, wow, this is pretty cool. It's actually harnessing the power of multiple machines around the internet, and that was SETI at home. Right. So the Search for Extraterrestrial Intelligence had this little screensaver that you could put onto your computer that would basically pull down information from NASA and the search for, or from SETI, basically.
SETI, yeah.
Pull it and sort of put some analysis on it and say, is there any alien transmissions here?
Right.
Yes, no, send back the information. Grab another batch,
And because it was you and me and a whole bunch of other people on the internet all using our processing power on our machines, it was combined to make as one massive processor.
Right.
Exactly. So we were the cloud for SETI.
Right, so if they tried to do this all themselves at that end, the power that they would need to do that would be enormous, but because they were farming it out to anyone that put down the screensaver, which was a nice screensaver too, they could actually process through massive amounts of data.
Right. And you know where the cloud computing kind of came from? It's interesting. The big trendsetter out there was Amazon. Back about 10 years ago, or sort of earlier in this decade, Amazon actually had to build out their network for capacity. It was starting to grow. And so they built this massive network to handle capacity, and they actually only used about 10% of it, except when they got lots of traffic, perhaps around the holiday season where people were buying a lot of stuff, and it would spike a bit, but it really had this massive excess space. So they started to build out the ability to actually rent this space to other people for computing tools, things like that. So, but people out there in Lab Rats land, you know what, they're already probably using the cloud and they don't really know it.
Yeah, you don't have to have downloaded SETI at home or Folding at home or one of those other ones that we looked at it for screensavers in the past, or to use Amazon. You actually might be using it now, as you say.
Yeah, exactly. So
yeah,
let's talk about some examples.
All right. Well, Flickr, for example.
Right.
So you've got photographs, and you could store them all on your computer and leave them there. Or you could put them online and store them at Flickr and have everyone else see them as well.
Right. So that's a classic example of storing stuff in the cloud.
So that's storage.
Right, storage. There's a service called Mosey, right? So Mosey is a sort of backup to the cloud function. You put a backup functionality on your computer. It will actually start to push all of your data out to the internet for safekeeping and that sort of thing. You pay a monthly fee for that. Apple's got iDisk, right? There's all kinds of different services. I think Dell has their own private label service and that kind of idea.
Right.
So really good for storing stuff out there, away from your house, away from your life, so it's safe for you.
So that's storage, but that's not all it is, obviously. There's also ones that actually have functionality as well. So a lot of people are starting to get familiar with things like Google Documents, where you can actually do spreadsheets, you can do Word documents, you can work collaboratively, but the document, instead of sitting on your computer like it would if you're using something like Microsoft Word, it actually sits out there at Google and on their servers.
Right. And what's cool about Google Docs, of course, is that not only is there is software, so it's actually what's called SaaS, or software as a service, right? So it's software that's not physically installed on your machine, it's installed on a machine out there, and you access it through your web browser. And there, of course, you have a spreadsheet capability. You can do, I'm trying to think, Word documents, well, not Word documents, but word processing, and all kinds of different functionalities you traditionally would use Microsoft Office for example.
Yeah.
And it's free.
Yeah, and now recently they've also introduced the ability to store any kind of document on there so that other people can get to it.
Right, so it's the storage functionality again, of course. And so I think you're going to see increasingly, this sort of software as a service thing built out so that you can use any program out on the internet without installing anything physically on your computer.
Yeah, Microsoft has been talking about this a lot over the last number of years, where they're talking about eventually, well, if they do want you to buy Microsoft Word and put it on your machine because it gives them some money, the ability to actually pay a subscription fee and use Microsoft Word online so that you don't have to deal with that. Right. That is something that's been bandied around for quite a long time.
Well, they actually have this service, they've been building up this service, and they announced it in 2008, started implementing in 2009, called Windows Azure. So Windows Azure is actually a kind of a whole service designed for developers to build software and to put it out there on the internet. It includes storage, the servers to actually run the actual application, and then actually a network to do billing and that sort of thing. So that you can go to a software developer, get a program through the website, and then it runs out there on Microsoft's servers. And then, like a utility, they only pay, and actually you only pay when it gets used. So what's interesting about cloud computing is that it's built on the basis of usage in many cases, especially in the case of Microsoft Azure, where just like a light, you turn a light on, light's on, so now you're paying for the electricity with it on. When you turn it off, now you're not anymore. So it's turning on a tap, turning it off, that kind of idea. So it's on-demand usage, and you can actually, the nice thing about it is the more you use, the more scalable it is. Of course, the more you pay as well, right?
So it'd be like a service. I know that my wife has had to, in her job, send out email lists, and you can do that with a combination of Word, Excel, and all these other things on your desktop. But there's also services out there called, like one called MailChimp, where basically you give them the list of names, you give them the template, and they do it all at their end.
Right.
So that's done through the cloud on a pay-per-use basis.
Right, exactly, absolutely good. So I think moving forward, we're going to see a lot more of this happening. I think we're going to be moving away from this idea of having a very, very powerful machine on our desktop, and where we're going to get all our functionality is going to be a decent machine with some processing power, and then a good web browser access to the internet, where you can have bigger and bigger internet connectivity, right? So that, and then really what you need is really good connectivity to run the big applications, to push these files out to the internet to be done with. Like you guys do a lot of rendering here at the studio, right? And that takes some cycles. It takes a big, beefy machine to make that happen, right? So, but what you could do is we could actually rent some service from a cloud provider, push that stuff out, have it rendered in 5 minutes because they have lots and lots of computers to do it, and then send it back to us.
Yeah, of course, you've got to weigh up in these cases whether or not the amount of data that you have to send upstream is worth the amount of time that you'll save. In the case of high-definition video, maybe not so much. And something that requires a lot of time to render.
When it's gigabit connectivity,
it's
maybe
coming.
in terabit eventually, it'll be no brainer.
Yeah. So if you've got a low speed connection like a dial-up, maybe not so useful, but yeah, if you got high speed, it definitely becomes more worthwhile.
Now, we're talking about it like it's a great thing, like it's a good thing, and perhaps it is, but let's talk about some of the pros and the cons.
All right.
So we'll start with the pros. The pros is you don't have to buy a lot of hardware, right, to to do big jobs. You can just rent the hardware as you go, right?
Yeah, you could do it on a net top, or you can do it on a netbook, just something that's really low power.
Right, and the Atom processor is a tiny little processor. It doesn't do a whole lot other than connect you to the internet.
So we're almost in the era of dumb terminals with a little bit of extra functionality with
Right.
all of this stuff in the cloud as you're processing.
The other nice thing about it, of course, is you can access your data from anywhere. Sort of like Gmail, right? Gmail. You have gigs and gigs and gigs of email. Well, you can access it from this computer. I can log out of my account, go to your computer and use it, and there's my experience right there. So no matter where I am in the world, as long as I can access the cloud, I can access my data.
Yeah, but that's one of the downsides of it. If you can't access the cloud,
Well, then
you
you're in trouble.
don't have access to your data. So if you're trusting all of your data to the cloud, but you've lost your internet, either your services got cut out at home, or you've been disconnected because you didn't pay your bill, you naughty person, now you can't do any work whatsoever because it's all in the cloud and you don't have access to it.
Fair enough. Actually, speaking of kind of pros and cons, so this next one, I think it's a pro, but some people may see it as a con, and that is you don't just pay for a piece of software and now you own it. You have the license to it. What you're doing now is you're connecting to a service and you're using it as you go. So you're kind of renting the software as you go. Now, that's some people will say, well, I'm never ever going to be done with paying for this thing. But on the upside, right?
Well, the thing is, you're never done anyways, because if you spend $500 on a version of the Office suite right now, and then a short while later, a new version comes out and you need all the new features, you're going to be spending another couple $100 on it, and then a couple of years after that, you're going to be paying for it again.
Right.
Whereas if it's all in the cloud and you're renting it, they'll take care of all the upgrades.
I think
you never have to worry about
I think if you did the math, I think you'd show the financial model's the same. You'd end up paying the same kind of amount of money for the same service. In fact, I think as we move forward, I think software will get cheaper.
It'll get cheaper, and even if it's even up, or even if it's a tiny bit cheaper to own the software yourself in the long run, you don't have to deal with the hassle of upgrading, making sure everything's running. If something goes down, you're not the one that has to deal with it. Just someone at the other end will upgrade and fix all those problems for you.
Right. Now you talk about the idea of losing your data, right? You know, if somebody goes down, like if the cloud goes down, that's unlikely because these are big companies.
Yeah, most companies like Amazon or Google, they do have a lot of redundancy in effect to make sure that you don't lose that data. So if there's a short-term interruption, that's what it is. It's short-term.
Right.
However, you have to trust the person that you're entrusting your data to.
Right.
So if you're going with a backup company you've never heard of, and it's in the cloud, and you push all your data there, well, is it going to be there when you need it? Maybe, maybe not. And even if it seems like a reputable company at some point, like everyone had bought the Hip Top from Danger, the cell phone.
Yeah.
And guess what? All of your data was stored in the cloud on that, and all of the data disappeared at one point and wasn't really recoverable for quite a long time. So there was a lot of people sitting there with their phones that were no good.
Right.
So
Now, the flip side of that, of course, is that if your house burns down, and so does your computer, that your data's away, a long way away, so it's actually safe.
yeah, we've talked in the past, and our friend Leo Laporte has talked in the past about off-site backup. You've got to get off-site, and something like Mozy or Carbonite is off-site. Slow to get all of your computer backed up to it, but once it's there, it's there.
Right. Before we wrap this conversation up, there's two key cons, I think, or not cons, but issues of controversy I think we need to address here, and one of them is privacy.
Privacy.
Your data is not your own. Your data is out there being looked after by somebody else. Do you trust them to do that? Is it accessible by the bad guys? That's always a concern.
And the answer is yes. It is accessible by the bad guys if they really, really want to get at it. Now, there's proven in action at some point someone who logged into their account on a service and hacked their way into another portion of the service that they theoretically weren't supposed to have access to, and got a whole pile of private information from other people that were in there.
Right.
So one rule of thumb should potentially be is if you don't want this information getting out there, is don't trust it to the cloud. You can save it at home, save it on USB key, but don't put anything that's extremely sensitive up online.
Don't put the formula for Coca-Cola out there on the cloud.
Yeah, if you're really, really worried. So theoretically, it's always vulnerable if it's out there in public and someone can access any portion of that.
In many ways, though, it's like keeping your money at a bank. Like, is a bank secure? You know?
No.
And I mean, it should be. That's their guarantee. They actually guarantee that your your money's going to be returned. But you know, security. Ultimately, it's a security conversation.
Yeah. Well, here's the thing: is like Matt knows this, I know this. Both of our cards have been compromised just by using a bank machine. So if you interact with the data at any point, it's going to be insecure. The only way it could be secure is if you never accessed it, ever.
Ever again.
And at that point, what's the point? So. It's got to be a conversation that you have with yourself. Do you want to live your life in complete fear that your data is going to be somehow compromised and you'll never do anything online ever?
Right.
If you're really, really paranoid, then only do certain portions of your life and your informational life online.
Also means you also have to forever pay for an internet connection.
Yeah.
Because no internet connection means no data.
Well, you got it anyways, because if you don't, you're not going to be seeing lab rats.
That's very true. That's the point. All right, let's take a break. When we come back, we've got our usual utility-based ideas for the end of the show, including picture time and our promo from butterscotch.com. All right. Before we move on, I think we should do final conclusions. I think that cloud computing is the future. I think we cannot get away from this. I think it's going to provide all kinds of new functionality for the internet, and really, it's a good thing.
It is. I'm not 100% sold on it yet.
Right.
I just having some dystopian sci-fi vision of everybody trusting everything of their lives to the cloud, and all of a sudden realizing that they have no privacy whatsoever, and all of their data is now gone, or owned by the government, or something like that. So I mean, that's just the paranoid X-Files guy in me, but
Yeah.
I use some things in the cloud, don't get me wrong.
Sure.
I do use Google Docs because it is very helpful, and I do use Flickr, and I do use that, but I think using it as the answer to everything is not, I'm not comfortable with that yet.
I got it. Okay, there you go. All right, cloud computing from Lab Rats today. We have a fantastic little feature here for you right now. It's a little clip from a show that Doc Callahan did. He did a tutorial series about Picnic, which is a photo utility on the web using the cloud. So let's take a look at that.
Welcome on deck. I'm Matt Harris.
Hi, I'm Jay Goldman.
Welcome to the A-List.
Hi, welcome to Miss Download.
I'm going to show you some ways to quickly make changes to your photos with little or no effort. Choose a photo and click on Edit. The first thing I can do to make a change is use the Auto Fix feature. This allows Picnic to do all the work and try to automatically correct the colors. You can see the difference by clicking on Undo and clicking on it again. Now, just because it says Auto Fix doesn't mean that it's correct, so feel free to undo the move if you don't like the way it looks.
You can see the whole episode of that and plus all the other parts that go with it at butterscotch.com in the tutorials tab section. That's Doc Callahan doing Picnic. All right, sir, picture time. Do we have pictures of clouds?
No, but I kept my list of who's on our picture time in the cloud.
Very good.
There you go.
Was it secure? Did anybody sneak a peek?
I think the rat looked at it.
Yeah, I think so too. All right.
All right, so first up, we have from Ken from Edmonton, a picture of his setup. And sorry, Ken, that we didn't get this in a little bit earlier. Ken sent this, and the attachment was missing, and he didn't get it back to us in time, unfortunately. Here it is. Here it is, Ken. So looks like I'm not sure whether he's dual monitoring it from his main desktop or whether that's hooked up to his other computer there. So looks like dual monitor. I approve.
Very nice. Okay,
All right.
good. What else?
So second of all, we've got from our friend Arjun. I think he's in Seattle. At least this picture's taken in Seattle. A picture of the sunset in Seattle.
Nice. Very good.
So there you go. And there's some clouds.
Hooray! We do
it's
have
almost like
pictures
we
of
did that.
clouds. That's
We
right.
did.
How magical.
Yeah.
All right, you can send your pictures to us of your mom, your kids, your pets, your cars, your desktops, whatever you like. You want to see it on this show? Send it to.
Don't send your information to the cloud. It's a trap, and the government will have every bit of information they ever need on you ever, and everything will come down on you, and everything will be really, really, really uncool at labrats.tv.
Yeah, or more simply, less conspiratally.
Feedback at labrats.tv.
There you go.
Hey, don't.
Hey!
At least I still got the dude.
Still good. Nice. All right.
Don't
All
go
right.
away on
Well,
me, man.
thank you for tuning in this week. Don't forget you can see all of our show notes for this episode and lots of more Lab Rats and lots of other shows at butterscotch.com. Don't forget our 10% off coupon for domains at hover.com right here. Give it a moment for the guys to get it up on screen. My name is Andy Walker.
I'm Sean Carruthers.
We'll see you next time.
Are you ready? Try this at home.
Sean, do you know what cloud computing is?
No!
No, I don't.